Hi guys, back with another video. This is sort of the first video in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing just about different types of soldering with guitars and basses, etc. So we'll probably go through, how to wire, standard Stratocaster and just different types of things, whatever you want to see. I'm happy to do. Show you all my secrets. No, definitely won't. Okay, so first off, I was thinking of jumping straight into maybe like Stratocaster wiring, like one pickup to one volume, stuff like that. But then I was kind of thinking that maybe people watching these videos might be starting off from the very, very beginning. So yeah, kind of thought let's go back to the very beginning and just do a little video on the basics of soldering for guitars. So very, very basics. What you need is obviously your components, like your pots. We're just going to focus on just this one pot today. We're not going to bring in pickups or jacks or switches or anything crazy like that, because this video is just going to be based on soldering in general for guitars. So you need some sort of cleaning thing for your soldering iron. You need your soldering iron and solder. You can choose, I normally go for this sort of copper foily kind of stuff for cleaning the soldering iron. I noticed I used to use like the sponge with like water and stuff on, but after a while I noticed that my soldering irons were lasting longer whenever I moved to this copper stuff, so I just thought I'd stick with it. So, excuse me. So what we're going to be looking at today is just starting off how to actually apply solder. So a lot of people will take a different approach, but I'm going to show you the right way to do it. First off, you need to get your soldering iron put up to heat. This soldering iron can sort of go between different temperatures and stuff like that. You kind of want a soldering iron that's maybe around 30 watts would maybe do, but 40 watts is probably, it's probably what you'd want to be working with guitars. Wouldn't really take into too many PCB boards and stuff with 40 watt soldering iron, but definitely if you know what you're at, 40 watt soldering iron is probably good. So first off, you can probably see the tip of the soldering iron is a wee bit dull, so normally it's not too bad actually when you look at it close, but whenever you've done a job of soldering and stuff, the solder tends to stick to it, so you want to clean it off. So quickly you can already see sort of shined up there. Will start to dull down from the heat and stuff, but apart from that, so when applying solder, what a lot of people just sort of go straight on in and maybe put a bit of solder in your soldering iron and just rub it on, stuff like that. And I'm guilty of doing that at the very start as well. Probably from GCSE technology classes, being taught how to solder wrong. But the right way to do it is with a technique called tinning. And tinning is where whatever you're going to be applying or soldering together, you want a little bit of solder on each of them, just to help the solder sort of flow together. So going to get a bit of solder and put it on the tip of soldering iron, and just hold the solder up to the lug that you want to, or wherever you're looking to apply said solder to, and that'll send the heat in, and you just bring the solder in like that, and voila, you have solder. So it's very hot whenever you do that. You'll hear a lot of people saying like blow on it and stuff like that, but you don't want to, because if you blow on the solder, yes, it will cool down faster obviously, but you'll introduce air bubbles into it and stuff like that, and then it won't be a proper connection. and it can also go cold after a while. Not cold as in like physically cold, but it'll be what's called a cold joint, and the cold joint will make an improper connection. So yeah, so that's generally how to apply solder. It works on anything. I could do it here, apply a bit of heat on here, and bring this in, and it just lovingly attaches. It's like I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, some pots you'll get where you might have to like take a little bit of emery paper or sandpaper or something and just scratch it in, but most of these CTS pots seem to be quite well made, and the body right seems to have some sort of just abrasive put over it or something. I'm not too sure, but yeah, so basically that's how to apply solder to a component like a pot. If you're not going to be soldering too much, you want to clean off your soldering tip again. So then let's look at connecting maybe a wire up. So here I've got just like a standard pushback cloth wire, something you'll see in like a Fender Strat or whatever. Most higher end guitars you start to see this in. So if I was to be putting this on, there's a couple of ways you go about it. I'll show you one way here. Say if I was attaching it to just one of these lugs. So one way to do it would be tin the wire, always tin the wire, because it makes for a better connection. So get the wire tinned up, and then seam to the lug that you want to solder to, and then just heat up that lug, and it'll heat up the solder that's on it, and when you start to slide that in, it will happily accept it. Easy as that. Yeah. So that's one way to do it. That would be a fairly handy way to do it. Another way you could do it is you just put the wire in to the lug. This only really works on like lugs and stuff like that, but say there's no solder on that lug. I have to keep bending these down to make sure you can see. So no solder in that lug at all yet. There's no solder on my wire. So what I do is just put that in there, and then just flow the solder into the lug while the wire's in, and it will attach to it all. So yeah, that's one way. So this will be like a you'd see it in a lot of Gibson guitars. It's like a braided wire with a core running through it. And normally these are used in like pickups and stuff like that, but you've got your earth on the outside and you've got your live on the inside. And if you were, say, may as well do this since we're here, but if you were connecting this to a pot, because the pot body will always be your earth, then you will connect this to it, because this is also earth. So you tin it once again, bit of solder, bring it on round, and connect up. Oh, try not to burn your fingers. There you go. Now once you have it connected, you can add a bit more solder to it, just to make it a little neater. A little neater, that's an absolute disaster, but it's kind of there. So yeah, that's sort of the basics of your soldering. A few other points that you want to look at, a few different types of wire, like the likes of this will be your single core wire. You have other types of wire like this, you're braided with the core in the middle. Let me see, you maybe have, I have a wee box laying about here with a big sticker on saying crap wire, because it's wire that, no point throwing it out, but it could get you out of a bad situation. So there's types of wire like this that will actually, they have 4 cores running through it. I have one here that is already open, so it'll be like that. So you have your 4 colours and ground running through it. I know that's a bit confusing. I remember someone saying to me, why is it called a 4-core wire and there's actually like 5 wires in it? But apparently you don't count the ground, because the ground has to always be there. So you have your 4 colours, and they can be any colours. I think this is off like a Seymour Duncan or something along the lines of that. And that's the way the wires are. You get most pickups are sort of around the same kind of thing. Normally the same colours, just each colour does something slightly different. So you've got that. You have loads of components. You've got your these are called pots or potentiometers. You've got your switches, your jack sockets, push-pull pots and stuff like that. But we won't go too mad into that. That's just basic idea of how to solder. If you have any questions, let me know, and if you have any ideas for videos, give me a shout and I can hopefully accommodate. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.